on to an important story for parents. Okay, it's no secret that women often feel pressure from society and other places to lose weight, but now that pressure seems to be starting earlier than ever.
The number of women in the United States aged between 19 and 34 having Botox has risen by 41% since 2011.
To me, I couldn't believe that everyone was like up in arms the fact that I'd had surgery.
60% of young people have been bullied for the way they look. Changing your appearance, you think you're going to suddenly be confident, more lovable, more likeable, more popular, where it is. It doesn't necessarily work like that.
Yeah.
Great. So basically the entire reason we are here is for body positivity, mental health, body confidence. It's about loving yourself no matter what. If you have stories of your own and you feel comfortable talking about them, I encourage you to talk about them.
What goes on in London fashion wise, like, cause we have obviously like the big fashion week that's more focused on like the clothes, like the people wearing them are almost like an accessory to that, they don't necessarily become the like main part of it.
It's just a contestant, it shouldn't matter what their body type is, and the fact that they tried to get a lot of publicity from this idea of like, oh, we're inclusive too, we have a plus size girl coming into the villa, and it's like, but that shouldn't be what you're focusing on.
When I read about it, I was like, oh, am I plus size? I thought I was just like,
exactly.
Healthy.
It changes the way that people think about people in general, because, you know, they're trying to promote body positivity and do things like this, which is promoting body positivity and showing that literally you can be any shape, size, colour, like anything, it doesn't matter. You can still do just as good a job at doing what you're passionate about as someone else.
putting all these labels on things means people feel like they have to put themselves into certain boxes.
It's kind of a hard one, because it's so subjective. There's no definite answer about what you should do.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think everyone, even like the prettiest people, are self-conscious. I don't think anyone's like fully like okay with themselves. My own personal experience, I don't know, I've kind of not really let that bother me. Obviously, because I am disabled myself, and I've had a lot of controversy in this in my life. But, you know, I just kind of let it roll over, because if you let it get to you, then it's just going to destroy you. Honestly, like, the things I've heard in my life, the things people said to me, like, honestly, I think they're self-conscious of themselves, so they take it out of people.
Being plus size myself, using like platforms like Instagram, I've seen, as I've grown up, I've seen a lot of body posi people. That's really helped me get through things like eating disorders, which are, I would say personally, were caused by media and TV shows. So when I'd follow them, and then I'd see like how they dress their bodies, because obviously in the media we see loads of slim women, and how they dress themselves is so different to how bigger girls can dress themselves.
Natasha, but nobody in life, not even my mother, calls me that. I feel like I'm a plus size, curvy, fat, whatever you want to call me, kind of girl. And I joined it because I feel like we're not represented enough in, I hate the word normal, but normal catwalks, everyday catwalks, London Fashion Week catwalks, any catwalks. So I feel like every opportunity we can get to walk, we should. So the Curvy Queen came from just kind of, it was one day I was in work and I was like, I'd love to start this curve Instagram. It was like a year ago and my friend was like, just do it. A year later, I post, like every Monday I post a thing called Movement Mondays. I think if you would love for something, you should show it, like you should express it. So dance and makeup are kind of mine, so that's what I do. And then I just post normal model pictures. So I followed Christiana for ages because she was on America's Next Top Model and I love that show. And she was the curve model on that. So I went, watched that all the time, and then I followed her on Instagram. And then I saw that she did it in New York. And I was like, oh my God, I'd love to have been there. I'd love to have done it. And then I saw that it was coming to London on one of actually my friends' Instagrams. And I was just like, how do I get involved quickly? But as I said, I am a bit nervous about it now, so I don't know. It was a good idea, but I am excited.
So my name's Ava Faye and I started modelling about a year ago, and because I'm old now, well oldish, I'm not used to social media and all the rest of it, so to try and get modelling work I was encouraged to put all my photos up on social media. I wanted to use social media as a different platform, not only to try and get work for myself but to promote body positivity. I started as a teacher and I had lots of students who had, they weren't very confident, they had body issues, unnecessary body issues. For students who would look through magazines going, I want to look like that model or that image. But as we all know, all the images in magazines are photoshopped and doctored.
Because I teach a lot of I teach from 4 to 18-year-olds, that you see how some of the teenagers are very insecure, even taking off their jumpers and dance and stuff like that. They won't, it's not happening. There's not happening. Or wearing a leotard, it's not happening because it's so skin tight to them that they're nearly afraid to do it. That's where you need to plant, say, the seeds, so that people, when they grow up, that they'll pass on the message. However much that we say, oh yeah, we're on social media, but they're well into, they have more followers than anyone else in the whole entire world. And I know it's not all about followers, and I know I keep going on about it, but it kind of is.
So my name is Quinones-Corsi. And I started getting involved in the catwalk because when I was diagnosed with lupus, I started gaining a lot of weight and I started feeling really, really bad about myself. And I didn't realize that my daughter was actually getting all those, things from me. I didn't even notice until one day I actually listened to her saying, nasty things about her body and telling her that she was ugly and not pretty and fat. She was 13, so I was like, what am I doing? I mean, clearly she's listening to everything that I was saying. So then I decided to change. I decided to make major changes in my mindset, to put it that way, the way I was talking to myself. It wasn't easy because obviously that's not a change that happened overnight. But I started. And then I noticed that she also started feeling a little bit better and then repeating the things that I was saying to myself. Silly things like looking at the mirror and, feel like, man, you're a pretty woman. Yeah, God, you're sexy. You're hot. And I started doing that. Even at the beginning, I wasn't believing it, 100%. But it works, and it started sinking in. And then, because we were following Christiana from the American Next Top Model, we were following her on Instagram. And we saw that she was going to come to London and she was going to do the catwalk. And I said, all right, I have to do this. So my name is Chloé Dall'Olio, I am Italian. It's my first year doing the Real Catwalk, I'm quite excited. Stand up for all the people that need some representation. Stand up for my young self that was bullied when I was a child because I was fat. For the journey and for where I am at now. Doing catwalks and much, everyone is so amazing and so welcoming and everything. It's gonna be a massive, powerful ball of energy. Well, surely showing that all bodies our normal bodies is gonna help, because, for example, how now on social media you can see real people and real bodies and identify with them. Seeing real bodies and real people of all sorts, like just in the streets all together, being part of something, is surely gonna show that this is normality, this is how reality is and not just what you see on some of the magazines. A lot of teenagers nowadays look up at models and think that this is how you're supposed to be, and this causes a lot of course, unhealthy eating habits. Myself, looking up at models when I was younger, felt really uncomfortable. I got a message on Instagram because I posted a photo of myself in a bikini 2 days ago, and I got a few messages, and one in particular told me, hi, my mom never wanted me to look at magazines because she thought it was toxic, but I'm so glad that now my daughter can look at your Instagram and feel that they can be themselves, and that kind of like made me cry almost. So in a way, in my little world, I'm kind of like contributing to this, and this is one of the main reasons why I do this, to be honest. And I know how bad society and the standards can be, not just in terms of body weight, but also in terms of like gender, because I am really close to a few transgender amazing people, and the whole community, how they're struggling with body conformity, how they're struggling with like labels that there shouldn't be, and just supporting them as well and showing that you can be however you are has helped them a little bit. I know that my friend, for example, like sometimes use me as an example. She's like, okay, so if you can wear that dress, I can wear the dress, and I'm like, yes, actually, have this dress.
My name's Tooray. I have a rare skin condition, CMN, congenital pigmented nevi. I've had a lot of life-changing experiences in terms of acceptance, in terms of depression, anxiety, and I think growing up, I didn't feel that I was part of something. So now, if I can get the message out to people and get something to them that they're never alone, that would be a really big achievement. Growing up, the bullying, because obviously somebody looks different, you go through certain stages. So in terms of that, psychologically, there's a lot of things that you have to deal with, and also in the early years, cancer can be formed as well. We have lost some people, some children to it. Kids can be cruel, you know, it's just a part of growing up, I guess. But I think if it's not your skin condition, it's your weight. If it's not your weight, you're too skinny, you're too, you know, there's always you're too this. I had my birthmarks, it was like, let's pick on the birthmarks. Then when I had surgery, it was like, pick on the scars. When I had surgery, I wear a camouflage makeup. Oh, you wear a lot of makeup. So there's always something. So why can't we just embrace that actually everybody's different? I don't wear makeup for a cover-up. I wear makeup because it's a part of who I am. So if I choose to wear that, it shouldn't be a topic of discussion, you know. I think my biggest anxiety is that I'm still quite covered up, and there's going to be a lot of women that are in, you know, their lingerie, bras, and I'm still going to be kind of covered up. But for me, it's a big step. So I think that's the thing that I'm most anxious about. And just getting myself out there. As I said, went through a little bit of a low patch in terms of depression. So, yeah, this is going to be a step forward.
My name's Niall O Gorman. I'm 20 years old. So I went in with the worst insecurities. I used to edit my photos on Instagram all the time. I used to go into work quite covered up, wear oversized clothes and stuff that wouldn't hug us. But after doing the catwalk and being around so many people who were going through what I was going through, people who were starting for different reasons, it just kind of made us want to highlight my individuality a little bit. It kind of grew like my own little project. Taking part in it this year and knowing that again I've been able to help out and reach these people and help them accept themselves or be braver or be happier about themselves, just it's like a gift that you can't give back. It's just an amazing feeling. The way I see the runway is focusing on diversity and making diversity known. So people not thinking they have to fit, or people feeling they don't have to feel a certain way because that's what they see on the media, that's what they hear in the streets, that's what they're raised with in school. Like, obviously, with school kids, all being there, you all get bullied for your differences, and then it kind of carries on through adult life, but no one tells you that. You just walk into it one day and you think, oh, I've come into this mature environment. Nope, it's still there. And I feel like the catwalk is going to be that exposure of people saying, it's not really what I have to put up with, and people can stand up to it and feel happy and feel comfortable. My outlook has always been, anyone that's in your life currently at the minute, if they're making that much of a negative impact, they won't be in your life in 2 years' time.
When everyone's going to be there tomorrow at Trafalgar Square, and everyone involved is going to be in the same situation. So that feeling of isolation you might have, you're not going to be isolated at all. You're going to be in the same boat together. So it's a shared experience. And when you bring people together, certainly on mass like tomorrow and certainly last year was, it doesn't become a fearful experience, it becomes an inclusive experience, and I think that's what the sole message and purpose of the Real Catwalk is inclusivity, certainly within the fashion industry and the media industry, but just in society in general. If it wasn't for a real runway, all of these people, certainly us lot now, we just pass each other in the street. I wouldn't know you from Adam. I mean, but we're all here because of a common ground. And certainly for the guys that are walking tomorrow, they're all brought together by this one event, of inclusivity and so on. Every single one of those people, and even you guys yourself, is going to have a story that's going to be completely different. So my story will be different to yours.
was really nice. Everyone, like the crowd were really like whooping you on and like really cheering on. And Christiana, just before you go on, is like hyping you up, and you're like, ooh! So my heart is going 90, but it was incredible. Thank you. Shaking! It was amazing. It's amazing. Good. Thank you. It was, yeah. The energy. Then Christiana was tapping our shoulders and gave us all the energy, and then I love it.
Do it next year.
Do it next year, definitely.
I love doing things like that. It just shows that you can be any shape, any size, any race, any sexual orientation. It does not matter. Whatever we are here, we are worthy, and it's all about diversity and equality.
Oh, incredible. Like, I got down there and it was like being on the dance floor, my favourite club. It was fantastic. Just cheesy dance moves, enjoying it, strutting, just hearing the support from not only the walkers, but the crowd as well. It's phenomenal. Absolutely incredible. I loved it so much.
Like, really happy. Yeah, it was really exciting. It was like exhilarating. You never think that you're going to do something like that. And then when you're doing it, you're just like, oh yeah, I could probably do pretty much anything now. Yeah.
I'm feeling super pumped, even more energized and more confident in my body, more confident in telling everybody that their body is beautiful, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it carries, like everybody's beautiful. I would say this is a great time to be alive, to witness so many people owning their body, owning their looks.
Accelerated, excited, just so buzzed, like I've still got adrenaline going through me. It was amazing to do it with all my friends as well from Zebedee, and yeah, it was phenomenal, and just show parts of me that I've never shown.
It was more than I expected, so yeah, so glad we done it.
We're from a leftist figure group. I'm an ambassador, and we do lots of things. We're not a charity. We just do it, get out there and do things.
We just rock.
We rock.
We rock our stuff.
Yeah. And we've got all different people. Burns, bags,
wheelchairs.
And it's amazing and it feels so good. Believe in yourself, get out there and go.
Do it. Yeah.
Just finished and I feel happy. I think it's important to acknowledge, yeah, sure, we're different, but there's some kind of oneness that unites us all. It's based on love and empathy and compassion, understanding and acceptance, and that is what the Real Catwalk is all about. Just connecting and loving each other and celebrating how we look, celebrating how we feel inside, celebrating how we think, and move with that. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. It's really all up to you. And even if you decide to come up and change your mind at the very end, it's all you, your decision. There's no pressure for anyone to walk around the catwalk. There's no pressure ever. It's more your journey, a self-love journey. If you're ready to do it, go ahead, and we'll be there to celebrate it.
Thank you so much for creating this community. I know so many people have made friends from this.
Yeah.
Just thank you so much for talking to us as well.
For covering, supporting.
3, 2, 1.